Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Unfortunately, back at Monday. Ugh. Oh well. It happens every week. Hey, weekend will be in just 5 days. Stay busy. You'll get there soon. Hey, we're going to go over our college basketball review for the last few days. Got some news items too. One big news item came down this morning. We'll get to that. Before we start, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Let's get started. Unfortunately, we got to start with some bad news. Bad news. Legendary college baseball coach Mark Marquez, say his name, Marquez, passed away Friday, age 78. No reason why he died. Old age, heart, I don't know, nothing was said. Took Stanford baseball up. He did wonders there at Stanford. Went to the College World Series 14 times. Went to the Championship Series 5 times, winning it twice back to back, actually, 87 and 88. He was 133 and 66 in NCAA postseason. Won 18 regionals, won 6 super regionals, 3-time Coach of the Year in the Pac-10. His total record, 1,627 wins, 878 losses, and 7 ties over 41 seasons. So, legendary college baseball coach Mark Marquez passes away. Game's going to miss you, dude. Game's going to miss you. Well, we also got some more sad news. Legendary football coach Lou Holtz, he's in hospice care at the age of 89. Won the national championship at Notre Dame in 88. Coached at South Carolina and Arkansas. Did pretty good jobs at those schools. Plus, he's on ESPN college football coverage all day long, and then the college football final at night, back when those shows were good. There were reports yesterday that he had already passed away, but his son Skip came out and said, no, we just have him in hospice, and families gathered around, so doesn't look all that good, but no official word yet or anything. But anyway, that's the way it is, man. That's the way life goes, unfortunately. Former Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson says he entered the NFL draft because it would have tarnished his legacy to stay in college and transfer to another school. I don't know if he have not stayed at Alabama for one last year. I mean, it had to be transferred. His dad said Miami, Oregon, and Tennessee were all interested in if he did enter the transfer portal. That's my question. Did he have to transfer? I mean, I don't know why you just couldn't stay another year at Alabama if you want to stay in college, but I don't know. Oh, well. Kansas City, they hired former Maryland basketball coach Mark Turgeon as their new head coach. He took the Terps to 5 NCAA tournament appearances. Actually took them to the Sweet 16 back in 2016. And then the one that came down this morning, Florida State offensive coordinator, former Auburn and Central Florida head coach Gus Malzahn, he's retiring at the age of 60. 35 years in coaching. He's going to retire and spend time with his family and whatnot. Won the national championship at Auburn back as their OC. Who was it? Gene Chizik? Yeah, Gene Chizik was their coach when they won that national championship back 2010, if I remember right. So, he's Gus Malzahn. He is going to retire. All right, so going back to Friday, Nevada moved to 16-6. They beat UNLV 89-76. 14-7 Grand Canyon beat 13-9 Boise State 86-69. VCU, they moved to 16-6. They beat Loyola Chicago 89-75. The game was tied at 46 at halftime. Michigan, another big game. They had Ohio State the week before. This past Friday, Michigan State. Number 3 Michigan beat number 7 Michigan State 83-71. Wolverines led by Lindenberg, 26 points, 12 rebounds. They shot 44% from the field, 23 for 26 from the free throw line. That's pretty damn good. Michigan State was led by Fears Jr., 31 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 38% from the field. They were 23 for 27 from the free throw line. Michigan led 42-26 at halftime. Michigan State made a second half charge. They actually outscored Michigan 45-41 in the second half. but the damage was done there in the first half. Both of them had 12 turnovers. Michigan, they finished January 8-1. Michigan State finished January 7-2. Number 21, St. Louis beat 14-8 Dayton, 102-71. That was St. Louis's 7th 100-point game this year. That's pretty incredible. St. Peter moved to 12-7. They beat Mount St. Mary's 66-58. St. Peter's finished January 6-2. Wright State moved to 14-8, beat Milwaukee 72-69. But Milwaukee, Jovanovic, how do you say it? Jovanovic, out for the season. Marist moved to 14-7, beat Canisius by 2 in overtime. Marist finished January 6-3. Fairfield beat Iona 71-70. Both of them moved to 14-9. Villanova moved to 16-5. They beat Providence 87-73. That was Providence's 4th straight loss. They finished January 2-7. Yale 16-3. They beat Dartmouth 83-68. 1-point game at the half, but Yale came back, outscored them 50-36 in the second half. 10-13 Sacred Heart beat 14-9 Quinnipiac 98-91. Quinnipiac actually led by 3 at halftime. Siena moved to 15-7. They beat Niagara 82-79. 18-4 Akron beat 16-6 Kent State 69-52. Akron led by Johnson, 16 points, 9 rebounds. They were 42% from the field. They hit 11 three-pointers in that game. Kent State led by Gillespie, 17.6 rebounds. They only shot 28% from the field. They were 1 of 23 of three-point attempts, Kent State was. Both teams combined for 28 turnovers. Moving to Saturday, Northern Iowa moved to 14-9. They beat Evansville 71-55. Northern Iowa finishes January 4-6. Number 24, Miami of Ohio. They are still undefeated. Beat Northern Illinois 85-61. Miami of Ohio, 10 more rebounds and 11 steals in that game. Marshall moved to 14-8. They beat Arkansas State 70-61. Marshall finished January 5-3. 16-6 Cal Baptist. They beat 14-7 UT Arlington 87-77 in overtime. 4-point game at the half. Cal Baptist outscored UT Arlington 19-9 in that overtime period. High Point moved to 20-4. They beat Longwood 71-59. High Point finishes January 7-1. St. Joseph's, they moved to 14-8. Beat LaSalle 67-58. Number 1 Arizona, still undefeated. Beat their rival Arizona State 87-74. In Arizona, 22-0. That's a school record there for the best start. Number 16 North Carolina, they moved to 17-4. They beat Georgia Tech 91-75. Wilson for the Tar Heels, 22 points, 6 rebounds, followed by Vesser, 20 points, 12 rebounds. Sometimes I write so fast I can't read my writing. Number 20, Louisville beat SMU 88-74. UL defense, man, they held SMU to 11 for 30 in the second half of that game. Both of them are 15-6 now. 12-11 Ohio beat 14-8 Buffalo 95-83. Ohio only had 4 turnovers in that game. Buffalo coughed it up 13 times. Long Island Brooklyn, they moved to 14-8. They beat Central Connecticut State 80-59. LIU's Porter Brown, 29 points in that one. Mercer moved to 15-8. They beat VMI 95-81. Mercer finishes January 7-2. Hofstra, they moved to 14-9. They beat Monmouth 73-57. Hofstra hit 11 three-pointers in that game, and they had 13 more rebounds. Charleston moved to 15-8. They beat Northeastern by 5. Charleston's counter, 28 points, 11 assists. Northeastern actually led by 2 at halftime. Lipscomb, they moved to 15-8. They beat Northern Florida 194. Northern Florida led by 9 at halftime. Texas, they moved to 13-9. They beat Oklahoma, who fell to 11-11 by 10. Oklahoma, 14-point lead in this game. Blew it. 8th straight loss. Things are bad up there in Norman. Wisconsin, they moved to 16-6. They beat 14-7. Ohio State by 10. Wisconsin, 26 points off the bench in this one. Number 17, Virginia, beat Boston College 73-66. BC actually led this game 5 by half. Virginia, their guys came off the bench, 28 points. Texas A&M 17-4. They beat 16-6 Georgia, 92-77. Texas A&M's bench, 32 points in this one. Saturday, the day of the bench. I mean, it was. LSU moved to 14-8. They beat South Carolina 92-87. It took overtime, though. LSU, man, start off good. They finished January 2-7. Utah State 18-3. They beat 15-6 San Diego State 71-66. Utah State 12 points in the last 4 minutes of that one, and they grabbed 6 or 8 rebounds. Purdue Fort Wayne moved to 14-9. They beat Rob Morris 83-71. Rob Morris actually led by 2 at halftime. Number 4 Duke beat 16-7 Virginia Tech 72-58. Last time Duke lost was December 20th. That's incredible. 9 straight wins. Number 10 Houston. They moved to 19-2. They beat Cincinnati 76-54. And they did it with none of their players scoring over 17 points. I mean, what does that say about Cincinnati? Number 22, Clemson beat Pitt 63-52. That is Clemson's 15th straight win over Pittsburgh. Stony Brook moved to 14-9. They beat Ilion 72-68. Stony Brook, 5th straight win. They finished January 6-2. Seton Hall moved to 16-6. They beat Marquette by 5. Marquette actually led the game by 8 at halftime. NC State, they moved to 16-6. They beat Wake Forest 96-78. McNeil for NC State, 28 points in that one. Winthrop, they moved to 16-8. They beat UNC Asheville 84-71. Winthrop's Duncombe, 26 points, 10 rebounds. 10-13 Campbell beat 14-8 William & Mary 104-96. Smith for Campbell, 39 points. William & Mary, they finished in January 3-5 after starting off pretty good. Navy moved to 17-6. They beat Loyola Maryland 87-71. Navy on a 5-game win streak. They finished January 8-1. 16-6 Cal beat 17-5 Miami 86-85. Camden led the way for Cal, 26 points. Renault led the way for Miami, 24 points. Cal, 49% from the field. Miami was 57%. Cal hit 10 3-pointers. Miami only hit 4. Cal, 24 for 32 from the free throw line. Miami was 23 for 33 from the free throw line. And Miami, 3 missed shots in the last minute of that game. Hawaii moved to 16-5. They beat Long Beach State, 89-82. Bullock for Hawaii, 26 points, 9 rebounds. Hawaii finishes January 6-3. Austin Peay, they moved to 15-6. They beat Western Georgia, 87-78. Parker for Austin Peay, 30 points, 12 rebounds. Tennessee Martin, they moved to 17-5. Beat Western Illinois, 84-44. Western Illinois, leading scorer, 8 points in that game. That was the leading scorer, 8 points. 11-12, NJIT beat 14-9 Vermont by 2. Davidson, they moved to 13-8, beat 13-10 Richmond, 79-54. Richmond only scored 15 points in the first half of that game, man. Number 14, I watched this one. This is a good one. Number 14, Kansas beat 13 BYU, 90-82. Tiller for Kansas, 21.7 rebounds. They shot 57% from the field. They hit 11 3-pointers. Peterson, though, he went out the final 16 minutes of that game. That kind of sparked a BYU comeback. They outscored Kansas 49-37 in the second half. But like we say, damage was done in the first half already. BYU, though, was led by Sanders. 33 points, 10 rebounds. They were 46% from the field. They hit 11 3-pointers. 15-9 Appalachian State beat 15-8 Troy, 66-44. Appalachian State's Jennings, 33 points in that game. He hit 7 3-pointers. Appalachian State, 6-3 in January. Kennesaw State, 14-8. They beat New Mexico State, 76-53. Kennesaw State's bench, they scored 35 points in this game. Portland State, 14-6. They beat Montana State, 63-54. That was a 2-point game at halftime. Indiana beat UCLA, 98-97 in 2 overtimes. IU actually blew a 10-point lead in the final 135 of the second half to force those overtimes. That didn't need to happen, but it happened. North Dakota State, 19-5. They beat South Dakota by 5 in overtime. Feddersen for the Bison, 20 points, 9 rebounds. Oklahoma State, they moved to 15-6. They beat Utah, 81-69. Utah's 9-12. What the hell happened to that program? They used to have a really good basketball program. I don't know. Stephen F. Austin, They are 19-3. They beat Southeast Louisiana 85-58. Stephen F. Austin, 7-game win streak. They are 8-1 in January. UMass, they are 14-9. Beat Eastern Michigan 70-67. UMass 1 for 13 on 3-pointers, and they won that game. 10-12. Florida State beat 14-8 Stanford 88-80. Game was won in the first half, though, because the second half, both teams scored 47 points. Bradley, 15-8, beat Drake, 87-73. 8-14 Princeton beat 14-7 Columbia, 80-68. Game was tied at 34 at halftime. Number 8, Vanderbilt beat Ole Miss, 71-68. Poor Ole Miss. 3-5 in January. George Mason, they are 20-2, beat St. Bonaventure, 77-73. George Mason, 7-1 in January. Excuse me, I got hiccups. I watched the end of this one because I was watching another game, but 15-7 Kentucky beat number 15 Arkansas, 85-77. Owe for Kentucky, 24 points, 8 rebounds. Bench points for Kentucky, 20. They shot 54% from the field, 6 for 13 from three-point land, 19 for 30 from free throws. Acuff Jr., he led the way for the Razorbacks, 22 points. Their bench, 29 points. Man. 49% from the field, 3 for 14 from three-point land, 16 for 26 from free throws. Kentucky, 12 more rebounds. Arkansas, they scored 1 point in the final minute of that game. UMBC is 13-8. They beat Albany by 3. 12-9 Harvard beat 16-4 Yale, 67-65. But Yale did have a good January. They're 5-2. USC 16-6 to beat Rutgers by 3. Rutgers, get this. Their starters. Rutgers starters combined for 28 points. Rutgers bench combined for 47 points. Maybe Rutgers needs to make the bench the starters and the starters back on the bench. I don't know. I'm not a basketball coach, but hey. McNeese there, 18-4, beat Lamar by 1. McNeese finished January 8-1. Temple beat South Florida by 1. South Florida missed 3-point shot with 1 second left in that game. Both of them are 14-8 right now. South Alabama, 16-6. They beat Georgia State by 2. South Alabama, they are 5-2, and they ended January 5-2. 13-10, Cal State Northridge beat 15-8 UC San Diego, 81-64. UC San Diego, 4-6 in January. Not a good month for them. UAB, they are 14-8. They beat North Texas 72-68. UAB finishes January 5-3. Belmont 20-3. They beat 16-7 Murray State 103-86. Belmont's Lundblade 27 points. Number 2 UConn beat Creighton 85-58. UConn starters combined for 57 points in this game. 16 3-pointers. They grabbed 12 more rebounds. That's just crazy. SIU Edwardsville 14-9. They beat South Indiana, Southern Indiana, 58-46. 15-6 Tennessee. I watched this one too. 15-6 Tennessee beat 14-8 Auburn, 77-69. Auburn would close the gap, but then Tennessee would just walk away again. Auburn could never get over that hump. UC Santa Barbara 15-7. They beat Cal State Fullerton 83-69. UC Santa Barbara 6-game win streak. Santa Clara, they moved to 19-5. They beat Loyola Marymount 104-73. Santa Clara 8-1 in January. They are on a 6-game win streak right now. New Mexico 18-4 beat San Jose State by 10. New Mexico's Hall 27 points. He hit 7 3-pointers. 14-10 San Fran beat 15-9 Pacific by 5. San Fran's Fooch, I think that's how you say his name. Anyway, 30 points, 9 rebounds. Sam Houston, they moved to 15-7. They beat Louisiana Tech 83-67. Sam Houston, bench points, 30. They are 7-3 in January. They are on a 6-game win streak. 8-13 Sacramento State beat 13-10 Montana, 86-79. Despite Montana Sawyers having 31.7 rebounds. And the late night one, number 6 Gonzaga beat 19-4 St. Mary's, 73-65. Gonzaga's Ike, 30 points. St. Mary's Dent led the way with 16 points, 6 rebounds. St. Mary's, though, finished January 6-2. However, Gonzaga has not lost since November. Moving on to Sunday. Number 8, Iowa State beat Kent State 95-61. Iowa State, 14 3-pointers in that game. They grabbed 17 more rebounds. Quinnipiac moved to 15-9, beat Fairfield 72-65. Fairfield led by 8 at halftime. 7-15, Eastern Carolina beat 14-9. Florida Atlantic by 1. Riley for Eastern Carolina, 35 points, 9 rebounds. Florida Atlantic is now on a 3-game losing streak. Marist moved to 15-7, beat Niagara 58-46. 3-18 Ryder beat 12-8 St. Peter's 81-78. Tulsa moved to 19-3. They beat Wichita State by 10. Tulsa's Riley, 30 points in that game. Tulsa's on a 6-game win streak. Wright State moved to 15-8. They beat Green Bay 83-75. Wright State was finished January 8-1. St. Thomas, Minnesota 8-6. They beat Missouri, Kansas City 99-64. St. Thomas, Minnesota's Bjork, 30 points, all 3-pointers. He was 10 for 14 from the 3-point line. Number 12, Purdue beat Maryland by 30. Maryland managed to score 2 points in the last 3 minutes of that game. The big one, number 19, Florida beat one of the big ones. Number 19, Florida beat number 23, Alabama, 100-77. Condon for the Gators, 25.7 rebounds, followed by Hall, 22 points. They were 51% from the field. They had 11 more rebounds, only 2 turnovers. They went on a 12-1 run in the last 3 minutes of that game. Bama's Holloway, 19 points, followed by Philin, 14 points, 44% from the field. They did hit 14 3-pointers, but they turned the ball over 17 times. Siena, they are 16-7, beat Kennesaw 78-63. Furman, 16-7, they beat Chattanooga by 5. Furman's Wilkins had 33 points in that game. Merrimack, they moved to 14-9. They beat Sacred Heart 75-58. The other big one, number 9, Illinois gives number 5, Nebraska, their second loss. Beat them by 2, 78-76. Wagler, 28 points, 5 rebounds for the Illini. They were 44% from the field, hit 9 3-pointers, 21 for 26 from the free throw line. They grabbed 11 more rebounds. Sanford for Nebraska only managed 14 points and 5 rebounds. 42% from the field. However, they did hit 15 3-pointers. Only 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Like I said, they start off 20-0. This is their second straight loss. Iowa, they moved to 16-5. Beat Oregon 84-66. Sturts for Iowa, 32.7 assists. And Eastern Tennessee State moved to 16-7. They beat 15-8 Wofford, 86-72. 2-point game at halftime. All right, so some of these games coming up, they're interesting this week. Tonight, 6 p.m., ESPN, number 16, North Carolina versus 13-9 Syracuse. 6:30 on ESPN+. This is a good one. Too bad it's not on regular TV. 18-4 McNeese versus 19-3 Stephen F. Austin. 8 p.m. on ESPN. This ought to be a good one, too. Number 14, Kansas versus number 11, Texas Tech. Both of them are 16-5. Tomorrow night, 5:30 ESPN+, number 24, Miami of Ohio versus 14-8 Buffalo. 6 p.m. on CBS Sports Network, 13-9 St. Bonaventure versus 14-8 Dayton. 6 p.m. on ESPN2, 11-10 Ole Miss travels to Knoxville to play 15-6 Tennessee. Ole Miss needs a win bad. Don't know if they're going to get it there in Tennessee. 6 p.m. on the SEC Network, 11-11 South Carolina travels to a up and down 13-9 Texas. You just never know what you're going to get with Texas. You never know. Gamecocks could go into Austin and get themselves a win tomorrow night. 7:30 on ESPN+. SIU Edwardsville versus Lindenwood. Both of them are 14-9. 8 p.m. CBS Sports Network. Number 21 St. Louis versus 13-8 Davidson. 8 p.m. Mountain West Network. 16-6 Nevada versus 13-9 Boise State. 8 p.m. on ESPN2. This ought to be a good one. 16-6 North Carolina State versus 15-6 SMU. 9 p.m. on Peacock. 15-7 Indiana versus 16-6 USC. The late one tomorrow night. 10 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. 13-9 Wyoming versus 15-6 San Diego State. Moving on to Wednesday. 5:30 ESPN Plus. 16-6 South Alabama versus 15-9 Appalachian State. 5:30 on Peacock. 16-6 Seton Hall versus 16-5 Villanova. 6 p.m. on FS1, 17-4 Central Florida versus number 10 Houston. Central Florida is fresh off that win over Texas Tech. 6 p.m. SEC Network, 17-4 Texas A&M versus number 23 Alabama. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus, 16-7 Furman versus 15-7 Eastern Tennessee State. 6 p.m. ESPNU, 15-8 Wright State versus 14-10 Rob Morris. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. 13-9 George Washington versus 14-8 St. Joseph. 6:30 ESPN Plus. Charlotte versus Wichita State. Both of them are 13-9. 7 p.m. ESPN Plus. 15-8 Lipscomb versus 15-6 Austin Peay. 8 p.m. on FS1. Looks like a good one here. Number 13 BYU versus 15-6 Oklahoma State. 8 p.m. on Big Ten Network. Northwestern, who's 10-12, versus 19-3 number 9 Illinois. Why I put that one? It's a rivalry. Good rivalry there. 8 p.m. on ESPN2. 11 poor Oklahoma. 11-11 Oklahoma goes to 15-7 Kentucky. Can OU turn things around? Is it too late for them? Are they? That's just crazy because they've had a good basketball team last couple of decades. I don't know. 9 p.m. ACC Network. Number 22 Clemson versus 14-8 Stanford. 9 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 19-5 Santa Clara versus 15-9 Pacific. 10 p.m. on FS1. 18-3 Utah State versus 18-4 New Mexico. 10 p.m. on Big Ten Network. 15-5 Iowa travels to Seattle. Play 12-10 Washington. Moving on to Thursday. Thursday and Friday, we got a few games here that are kind of interesting. Thursday, 6 p.m. CBS Sports Network. 14-8 William & Mary versus 19-3 UNC Wilmington. 6 p.m. on ESPNU. 14-9 Iona versus 16-7 Siena. 8 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 15-7 UC Santa Barbara versus 13-9 UC Davis. And then 8 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 13-9 Idaho versus 13-10 Montana State. Kind of a little border war there. Moving on to Friday, 6 p.m. ESPN2. 14-8 Dayton versus 16-6 VCU. Not too bad. Remember Fox, they've had some good Friday night games. Last week, Michigan State. Before that, Michigan, Ohio State. Well, Michigan's not involved, but listen to this. 7 p.m. Fox, Friday night. Number 2, UConn versus number 25, St. John's. Hey. 7 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. 15-8 Bradley versus 14-9 Northern Iowa. And then 8 p.m. on ESPNU, 20-3 Belmont versus 13-10 Illinois Chicago. That's it. Monday's almost half over. We can do it. We can get through it. Keep our heads down. Keep busy. We'll be back Thursday or Friday to review everything that's fixing to happen and preview stuff for this next weekend. We're getting down to it. February already. It's crunch time for some teams. There's some teams that need to pull their heads out their ass and get to it because time is running out. Anyway, have a good week. Stay busy. Friday will be here before you know it. We'll see you next time.